Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to NBC News Channel 13's 13 Now, your own personalized YouTube newscast. With you, as always, is your friendly, I guess I am pretty typical. Anyway, I'm your friendly anchor, Steve Cooge. I'll be with you here for the next couple of minutes because we got to go. We got a lot of crazy things happening tonight, including a presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. But you don't want to watch that. You want to watch YouTube stuff, which is why you're here right now online. Anyway, I'm going to break down some of the top stories we're following today. I just want to give you a fair warning. This first story we got to talk about, it's absolutely disgusting. Very disturbing. It's a criminal trial involving a rapist. So just wanted to go into this talking to you about that. If you've never been a viewer of 13 Now, welcome. Happy to initiate you. Here's how this works. We talk about some of the top stories that we're all tracking here in the upstate New York, capital region area, and break it down before you get to watch it on the newscast later. So we're going to get to that first story we've been talking about. You might remember this because it was absolutely horrible. Again, this is dealing with a rapist, specifically a child rapist out of Rensselaer County. A man was just sentenced today to 20 years in prison for what is an absolutely terrible rape and ended up in the death of a 3-year-old little girl. We were in court today as all this was unfolding. That man's name is Robert Fisher. You see him here in the green prison jumpsuit. Fisher admitted to raping and killing this little girl here, Josephina Cunningham. She died back in July 2023. Fisher admitted to killing her and doing this in her Broadway home. He allegedly drugged her, went into her bedroom, raped her, and tried to cover it up with Clorox wipes. The sitting in the courtroom today, listening to the details, is absolutely disturbing. It makes you kind of lose faith in humanity sometimes when you hear about creeps like this who can do that to such a little innocent girl. Josephina Cunningham was just 3 years old when Mr. Fisher did that to her. Her cause of death was from homicidal violence. Coroner ended up ruling during the sexual assault. So Mr. Fisher is now going to spend the next 20 years to life in prison for that. And the family is actually hoping for the death penalty. So see where it goes from there. Another story we're following, this one also out of Rensselaer County. Not quite as serious, but still pretty serious. This one dealing with a trial that just began for a federal election fraud incident that occurred about two years ago, back in 2021, during a incident that happened in Rensselaer County. Let's break it down for you. The trial just began involving 3 Rensselaer County officials. Before the trial testimony took place, attorneys laid out what's going to be a roadmap over the coming weeks for jurors to follow. There was 2 hours of opening arguments inside the federal courthouse. According to the assistant U.S. attorney here, the case he's prosecuting is what we're being told is a conspiracy, not only involving organized crime or street gangs, but rather 3 government officials from Rensselaer County. Their names, Rich Christ, Jim Gordon, and Leslie Wallace. In addition to conspiracy theories, the government has also charged Leslie Wallace with lying to the FBI. That gives you a sentence of up to 20 years in prison if found guilty on that charge. So these 3 Rensselaer County officials, former Rensselaer County officials, going to trial, and we'll see how this all unfolds, but they are facing some pretty serious prison sentences. All right, enough of that. We got to end with a happier story. It's what we always like to do here on 13 Now. This one story I'm going to tell you about right now takes place in Saratoga County. A woman beating her cancer diagnosis, going through a real tough battle. Now she's trying to raise awareness for ovarian cancer and doing it with something we can all enjoy, I think, ice cream. The woman's name, her name is Joyce Casertino from Wilton. She was blindsided by a cancer diagnosis back in 2019. A lot of her time since then has involved surgeries, chemotherapy, radiation, tons of just discomfort, lots of tough stuff. Well, when she finished her last treatment, Joyce said that she wanted to get ice cream because, of course, who wouldn't after all that hard work? Well, then she had this idea to use ice cream as a way, as she says, to raise awareness of ovarian cancer. So this coming Saturday, she's now inviting people to Gavin Park in Wilton for what's being dubbed the Ice Cream Run. The ice cream event for Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance is taking place from noon to 3 at Gavin Park in Wilton. Again, it's this very Saturday. The first 100 people to register will get tickets for free ice cream from Farmer's Daughter, Dairy House, Ben & Jerry's, and even Stewart Shops. So there is, this woman fought through some horrible, horrible times with cancer starting back in 2019. She's now cancer-free. She's organized this fun run, and there is ice cream involved. As someone who has run a marathon before, my advice to anyone who wants to attempt this, eat the ice cream afterwards, because you do not want to have an upset stomach during whatever running you might be doing. I ran the LA Marathon a number of years ago, and I'll never forget, there were people selling like burritos and even like hot dogs. One vendor had chili dogs with like, a hot dog with like chili all over it right there that you could just get from them as we were all running by, the thousands of us who were taking place in the marathon. And I remember thinking like, that'd be a bad mistake, like running a marathon, slamming a chili dog, and then like 2 miles down the road, you got to find a trash can just to heave into because all of it's coming right back up. Anyway, that is a fun event happening over in Wilton at Gavin Park this Saturday. Again, from noon until 3 p.m. Ice cream. If there's any good cause aside from cancer to do a charity event for ice cream, that'd be it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching us here on 13 Now. Our 9 p.m. newscast is coming up here on 9/4. Our 9 p.m. newscast is coming up in about 17 minutes on the My 4 channel. That is, if you live here in the upstate New York capital region, tune in. We're going to be talking all about the stories you just heard in greater depth, as well as even more interesting things happening up in the world today. And if we don't see you then, have a great night. And thank you so much for tuning in now. I enjoyed this time we had.